Hello and welcome to our new topic, a very unique and interesting one. This presentation is an introduction to neuropharmacology, where we will learn about major concepts underlying neural physiology that would enable us to understand why and how drugs act on nervous system, why some drugs produce a variable effect, why two persons may not respond to the same drug in the same way, and how does our brain learns and adapts to the change in function. So, let's start. The learning objectives are shown. Please take a look. Every drug acting on the central nervous system ultimately modifies neurotransmission. Whether we prescribe antidepressants, antipsychotics, antiepileptics, sedatives, or anti-Parkinsonian drugs, we are altering how neurons communicate. Therefore, before learning individual drug classes, we must understand the basic language of neuronal communication. The CNS is composed of the brain and spinal cord and is responsible for integrating sensory information and generating motor output and other behaviors needed to successfully interact with the environment and enhance species survival. The human brain contains about 100 billion interconnected neurons surrounded by various supporting glial cells. Throughout the CNS, neurons are either clustered into groups called nuclei or are present in layered structures such as the cerebellum or hippocampus. Connections among neurons both within and between these clusters form the circuitry that regulates information flow through the CNS. A typical neuron has a cell body, or soma, that receives the synaptic responses from the dendritic tree. These synaptic responses are integrated at the axon initial segment, which has a high concentration of voltage-gated sodium channels. If an action potential is initiated, it propagates down the axon to the synaptic terminals, which contact other neurons. The axon of long-range projection neurons are insulated by a myelin sheath derived from specialized membrane processes of oligodendrocytes, analogous to the Schwann cells in the peripheral nervous system. Astrocytes perform supportive roles in the CNS, and their processes are closely associated with neuronal synapses. These terms matter because drugs target different signaling speeds and spatial scales. A neurotransmitter is a chemical mediator that is released by a neuron and affects another neuron. It is not defined by chemistry alone but by function. It must be synthesized in neurons, released in response to depolarization, act on specific receptors catering to a variety of neuromediator systems inside the neurons, and produce a reproducible effect. Importantly, removal or termination mechanisms must exist for its actions. This functional definition allows us to include diverse molecules, from amino acids to gases, under one conceptual umbrella. Not all signaling molecules act the same way. Classical neurotransmitters act rapidly and locally. In contrast, neuromodulators act more diffusely and alter neuronal responsiveness rather than directly triggering action potentials. Neurotrophic factors influence neuronal growth and survival. This distinction is pharmacologically important because drugs targeting modulators often have delayed but sustained effects. This slide and the next are among the most important in the entire CNS pharmacology course. Drugs do not act randomly. They act at specific, predictable sites and steps in neurotransmission. A drug may alter neurotransmitter synthesis, reach, storage, release, receptor activation, second messenger signaling, reuptake, or degradation. More details in the next slide. This slide represents the full neurotransmission cycle. Every CNS drug we study later will fit somewhere on this diagram. Drugs can act at every step of neurotransmitter life cycle, including precursor uptake, synthesis, storage, release, receptor binding, reuptake, enzymatic degradation, and presynaptic feedback regulation, illustrating that pharmacology is intervention in physiological signaling pathways. The brain's chemical mediators are like a color palette or wheel. Two shades may appear similar, but they are never identical, and that small difference creates a different biological effect. Neurotransmitters, receptors, and ion channels follow the same principle. That is, small molecular differences produce different functional outcomes, just like mixing shades. This is why two drugs that look chemically similar can act very differently, and why two people may respond differently to the same drug. Pharmacology fundamentally depends on biological diversity. Without molecular diversity, receptor diversity, and signaling diversity, neither would drugs be selective nor diverse in action and side effects. The neurotransmitters may be classified into amines, amino acids, and larger peptides. Purines and a variety of diffusible substances add more complexity to the overall picture. Small molecule transmitters such as amines and amino acids are synthesized in nerve terminals and recycled. Peptide neurotransmitters are synthesized in the cell body and transported down the axon. This explains why peptide signaling is slower, longer lasting, and less amenable to reuptake inhibition, an important pharmacologic distinction. This slide and the next show salient features and attributes of various neurotransmitters. We will learn about them in our lecture series one by one. This part of the table enlists only amines. The amino acids, peptides, and others are listed here. As we move forward into specific drug classes, I want you to repeatedly ask yourself, where does this drug act in neurotransmission? Which receptor? Which signaling pathway? If you can answer these questions, you will understand CNS pharmacology and be able to apply it rather than memorize it and think it being complicated. This slide is foundational for understanding CNS pharmacology. From a pharmacologic perspective, all neurotransmitter receptors fall into two broad categories. 1. Ionotropic receptors, which mediate rapid responses, and 2. Metabotropic receptors, which act via intracellular signaling cascades. This distinction predicts onset, duration, and side effect profiles of drugs. Ionotropic receptors directly control ion channels and produce immediate effects within seconds or less. In contrast, the metabotropic receptors act through G proteins and second messenger pathways, producing slower but longer-lasting responses. G's receptors increase cyclic AMP, GI receptors decrease it, and GQ receptors activate phospholipase C. These mechanisms exist for dopamine, serotonin, adrenergic, and muscarinic receptors. Most psychotropic drugs act on metabotropic receptors, partly explaining their delayed therapeutic effects. Once students understand this, many drug effects become predictable. This slide gives us an important concept about diversity. The structural similarity does not guarantee functional similarity. Even very small molecular changes can dramatically alter affinity, selectivity, and downstream signaling of a receptor. This language analogy is extremely powerful because it reminds us that receptors interpret chemical dialects, not just molecular shapes. A small change in structure can completely change biological meaning. This is why two drugs that appear similar may act on different receptor systems, produce different therapeutic effects, and cause different side effect profiles. It also explains why different individuals may respond differently to the same drug. Pharmacology is fundamentally built on diversity. Without molecular diversity, receptor diversity, and signaling diversity, selective and rational drug therapy would not exist. Ion channels are not uniform structures, they are highly diverse protein complexes. This diversity explains why drugs can selectively act on one channel type without affecting others. Different channels control the movement of different ions, possess different gating mechanisms, and exhibit different kinetics of activation and inactivation. From a pharmacologic perspective, this diversity is what makes selective drug targeting possible. Even within the same ion type, channels differ in subunit composition, gating properties, and localization. A sodium channel in the cortex is not functionally identical to a sodium channel in the spinal cord. This molecular diversity explains why the same drug can produce different effects in different brain regions and why side effects occur alongside therapeutic effects, or why some effects are dose-dependent. Receptor diversity explains why drugs can be selective, why side effects occur, and why the same transmitter can produce different effects in different brain regions. This slide illustrates two fundamental pharmacologic principles. First, one molecule combined multiple receptor types, producing different effects, as seen with acetylcholine acting on both muscarinic and nicotinic receptors. Second, one receptor complex combined multiple ligands at different sites, as seen with GABA-A receptors binding GABA, benzodiazepines, barbiturates, Z-drugs. This explains polypharmacology, drug synergy, and drug interactions. Neurons do not work in isolation, they operate in circuits. Each neuron integrates multiple excitatory and inhibitory inputs before generating an output. Pharmacologic intervention therefore does not act on single synapses, but on entire networks. In other words, drugs modify networks, not single synapses. This explains why CNS drugs have system-wide effects and why predicting outcomes requires understanding circuitry, not just receptors. Neurotransmission is not static. Repeated stimulation alters synaptic strength through mechanisms such as long-term potentiation. This concept explains learning, memory, addiction, tolerance, and even antidepressant delay. Pharmacology does not just change signals, it changes synapses. Drugs do not merely change neurotransmission, they change synaptic architecture. By the way, this is why your brain remembers pharmacology. These references represent the core authoritative texts for CNS pharmacology. Students are encouraged to use them not for memorization, but for understanding principles. This lecture serves as a conceptual framework upon which all future CNS pharmacology topics will build. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Happy learning!